Phillip Island. This is a beautiful racetrack in the great tradition of grand old Grand Prix circuits. It's fast and an absolute driver favourite. Let's get into the raw data. 4.45 kilometres, 12 corners, anti-clockwise in direction with a very high average speed. Just over 170 kilometres an hour around this racetrack. Top speed, 280 kilometres an hour in a V8 supercar. The slowest corner over at turn 10, the old one we used to call MG, just 75 kilometres an hour. And one of the other features that we have on this racetrack, it's a bit different, something we don't often talk about in motorsport. Check it out. Look at the view down here into turn 1, that's Bass Strait. It's an amazing vista as you look left and right if you get time. Now, if you're a driver that's new to the category, or you've been testing at Queensland Raceway all winter and you don't get much mileage, this is going to be a daunting prospect this weekend. I'll also get you to roll your thoughts back 12 months because remember the weather played a huge factor here last year. I'll be very surprised if we get through this weekend without some rain.
So coming out of Siberia, it's the reason it's called Siberia. If you go off down there, you're straight off into the ocean. So it's a pretty wild spot. You come out of there in third gear, 140k, you pull fourth, pull fifth. And on the approach to this corner is the Hayshed. It's the fastest, big, fast right-hander in Australia. It's a 220k mid-corner speed up over this curb. And when you turn in, you've got to turn the car early to use the curb nicely to not make too much difference to the car. As you come out of the back of the Hayshed, it's then a very gentle brake and a slide to 155k, basically at the top of the hill that you can see there. This is probably the fastest and most committed section of the track. It's a ripper piece of road.
So to complete what is already a very challenging lap, we have turns 9, 10, 11 and 12. Now turn 9, Lukey Heights, is where the cars crest the hill. They get really light, particularly in the wet. I know I've had a good crash there. Down into turn 10, second gear, tight right-hander, but it's turn 11's the difficult one. Really punishing on the right rear tyre. A lot of latitudinal load as the cars accelerate to second, third and fourth gear, so a lot of longitudinal load as well. Now, this is the real corner on the track. Turn 12, really ballsy stuff. We spoke about at Queensland Raceway the need not to be brave and you need your car really technically correct. Well, here this corner is about bravery and commitment. Let me explain. Fifth gear as you come in here, lift to the throttle, get the nose into the apex of the corner, but then what you've got to do is get to 100% throttle. You've got to get there fast and you've got to get there hard. But once you do that, you're really committed to the line that the car's going to take on exit. Get that right, you'll get to about 280 k's down the straight. Get it wrong, knock about 5 k's off, and there you're going to get yourself overtaken.
Every year we come to this fantastic racetrack and each year our TV team describes the place in great detail, speed, gears, track features. It's kind of a giant pitch report. Well, this year we thought we'd try and do something just a little bit different and bring to light some of the extraordinary moments that have happened here across many decades of racing. Every millimetre of this 6.2 kilometre Mount Panorama racetrack has war stories to tell in multiples. And we have seen great races, extraordinary highs and lows, incredible passing, some really bad decisions, totally weird moments and absolute game changers.
Ready, go.
Johnson has hit a rock. That is unbelievable.
It doesn't matter where you go, anywhere in the world, you won't see anybody driving on the limit quite like Brock is now.
And he's going straight to pole position for the Bob James. He marks 1,000 Murphy. A blistering lap.
Holy smokes!
Record breaker. Oh, look at that.
That is extraordinary.
Scaife is in the wall. Scaife, day is done. Holden has hit back at the mountain.
From down here at the race start to back there at the podium, this place has generated more special moments than any other. Some of them are pretty easy to recall, others just get lost in the fog. There's been so many.
Down goes the flag and the 1984 James Hardy 1000 is underway, and it is George Fury, Peter Brock and Alan Grice running up with Adam Praying. Steve Masterton's gone in, Tom Walkinshaw is stalled there on the starting line. The rest of the field passing him by. He's been collected by a Camaro. Peter Williamson has also gone into the side of his car, and we have the track blocked across the main straight.
A restart, surely. I mean, the traffic will never get through here. They're going to have to flag them down across the top of the mountain and bring them back for a restart.
Now, if I asked you to nominate special places around Mount Panorama, I doubt that you would nominate Mountain Straight, but it does have its own unique and dangerous character. As you can see, it is unbelievably narrow, incredibly steep, real fast, and it can bite.
Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness, 2 wheels in the grass for Rick Kelly. Desperate stuff in the closing stages.
In 1994, we witnessed the birth of the superstar in the making at Turn 2.
He's put one on him up there.
It was Craig Lowndes' rookie year, and this outside pass on John Bower was bewildering for John and the rest of us.
This kid is dynamite.
Blind approach to the cutting right next to this rock face creates a bit of an uneasy feeling for the drivers because clearly you don't know what's coming next. You can sneak through here side by side with another car, but that requires a high degree of goodwill from both parties.
Ambrose has had a massive shut. Ambrose has had a massive shut. 4 cars, the track is jammed. The track is jammed. It's on. These two do not like each other.
A little bit embarrassed to say this, but back in 1977, I saw my very first race car arrive here in anger over the top of the brow, standing just on the other side of the fence. It was 77, in case you need to do the maths. I was pretty young. This is Metal Grate, top of the mountain, fantastic piece of racetrack. We love it. It's generated some great action over the years. By the way, it was a Mazda RX 3 rotary. What a weapon. And that was the year, 1977, of the famous Alan Moffat and Colin Bond Ford 1-2 form finish.
They come down in that magnificent view from the 7 helicopter, a scene we've never seen before. Side by side, Colin Bond, Marsden in front.
Standing just on the exit of McPhillamy, right at the very top of the mountain. Up here, it's all about rhythm and flow. But back in 1981, it was anything but, because here on the run to Skyline was where the race was stopped in its tracks.
We have an enormous traffic jam. We've had a horrendous crash at the top of the mountain. We have an absolute blocked track at the top of the mountain.
Conrod Straight. This is the fastest straight in all of Australasian motorsport. Now, I can't think of anything much spookier than driving the GTR Nissan here back in 1992 in the heavy wet and not being able to see a thing in terms of where I was going. Needed this white line for reference. On the other side of the ledger, I can't think of anything better to rejoice here than the awesome sound of those TWR V12 Jaguars back in 1985.
The run into the chase is so incredibly fast that any slip-up or patchy wet will result in a breathtaking ride.
300 kilometres an hour, surfs out the other side, almost rolls the Castrol forward, gathers it up, drops a bunch of spots. The race has gone off.
Competitive pressure, low grip, high curbs, moisture and tight twists. Add these ingredients and even the pit lane entry can bring the best operators undone.
Would you believe it? He inherited the lead, come into pit lane and had an accident.
So these are just a few of the moments that define this outstanding event. I've been lucky enough to be coming here for a very long time as a fan, as a competitor and as a broadcaster. We love this racetrack and we love coming back, and it's a compelling story that renews itself every 12 months. Now, it's a little bit quieter up here at the moment than it was back in 1992 when my teammates Jimmy Richards and Mark Scape had just won the event.
This is bloody disgraceful. I'll keep racing, but I tell you what, this is going to remain with me for a long time. You're a pack of arseholes.
And just as it is with every other aspect of this race facility, this podium has its own special place in our archive.